One of the many reasons that I love running is because it's just so simple. You can take a pair of shoes with you, shorts and a shirt, and you're pretty much ready to go. You can go train and run anywhere. But with that said, when it comes to our shoes, we runners really love to geek out on the details. And I wanted to talk about a couple mistakes that runners make with their shoes. Because even though we don't need a lot of equipment for the sport of running, it is really important to use the only piece of equipment that we really use, shoes, and use it appropriately. So there are quite a few mistakes that runners make when they're buying shoes, when they're running in their shoes. And I wanted to give you a couple of these common mistakes that I see all the time. And I want you to avoid them. And I also want to give you some new ideas on how to think about shoes so that you can be a little bit more strategic when you are buying shoes and choosing what shoe to wear for different types of runs and different types of training. So, the number one mistake that I see is just runners wearing their pair of shoes much beyond their useful lifetime. And I am not immune from making this mistake myself. I've been making it this week. I mean, look at this shoe. This shoe probably has 500 miles on it, which is too much. And there's a hole where the toe is. So my left toe is just coming right out of this. These shoes need to be retired. So with that said, I'm probably gonna run in them a little bit more, keep making that mistake because I'm not running super high mileage right now. But if you are training for a race and you're doing the long runs, you're doing the workouts, it is not in your best interests to keep running in shoes that have indentation marks in the foam where you can see compression of that foam, because that means that that foam is not absorbing and releasing shock in the ways that you really want it to. So not only are you predisposing yourself to an injury because the shoe isn't working exactly the way that it should, but you're also not getting as much out of the shoe and it will impact your performance. So let's wear shoes for about 300 to 500 miles, but really look at the bottom of the shoe on the sole. If you have a shoe like this is the Adidas Boost, Sense Boost Go. It's like 16 names on this shoe. But the foam here is very soft. It's that boost foam that they use in some of their more performance-oriented shoes. And it's great for absorbing some of that shock. It's kind of squishy, but at the same time, it's not as durable. So it doesn't last as long. It really depends on what kind of material the manufacturer is using in the sole, but don't run beyond a shoe's lifetime. It is only going to maybe get you injured or at the best, reduce your performances. Now, the second big mistake that I see runners making when it comes to shoes is not rotating their shoes. Rotating shoes has been proven to reduce your injury risk because, after all, running is very repetitive. We are just putting one foot in front of the other, taking one step after the other, thousands of steps per mile. And when we add up all the mileage that us runners run, it accounts to a lot of repetition. And when we think about injuries, what is a running injury? Well, technically, it is a repetitive stress injury. It is an injury that we get from a small stress repeated over and over and over again. And anything that we can do that limits the repetition of stress is going to help us reduce injuries. And one of the most effective ways to do that doesn't have you in the gym lifting weights or completely revamping your training schedule is to rotate through 2 or 3 different types of running shoes during the week. And what this does is it really puts your foot and your lower leg in a different type of shoe so that it experiences a different type of stress. Because every shoe is different. They have different stack heights or how high they are up off the ground. There's different heel-toe drops or the height differential between the forefoot and the heel. There's different sole materials, different levels of arch support, different lasts are used. There's so many differences and variations between shoe models. And if we rotate through a variety of these models, what we're doing is that we're subtly changing how our feet are interacting with the ground. And that is going to reduce a lot of that stress. It's going to slightly change our gait and our stride pattern, and that's going to redistribute stress and those impact forces in a slightly different way. So if you're not already wearing a couple different shoes, I highly recommend it. I showed you these Adidas shoes here. These are a pair that I wear. I also wear these Nikes. I really like these. These are a little bit more low profile. And I have another pair that has a firm midsole that I don't really love, but I might wear it once or twice a week for a very short, easy run. The point is that I'm simply exposing my body to a variety of shoes so that, you know, if I go out for a run, I'm not gonna get hurt just because I stepped a little bit funny. My feet, my lower legs are more resilient to that kind of stress. Mistake number 3, probably the most common mistake, is to wear the wrong shoe for the wrong task. Now, there's so many different types of running shoes out there, and we are all individual, we are all unique, we have different stride patterns, we have different experience levels, and what works for me might not work for you. What might work for that guy over there is not gonna work for this lady over here, and we have to recognize that. That's why I don't really give advice on what kind of shoe to buy. I don't know. I'm not fully up to date on all the different shoe models up there. I'm not a shoe expert, I'm a running coach. But more broadly speaking, certain shoes are more appropriate for certain things. Now I showed you my Adidas. These are great for long runs because they have this more thick foam material underfoot. I generally like a more lower to the ground shoe that has a lower stack height, that has a lower heel toe drop. But for long runs where I know I'm gonna be on my feet for a while, I do appreciate a little bit more cushion, and I do like that. Now, with that said, when I'm doing a faster workout, I don't want all that cushion. I want to feel the ground. I want to be able to feel more responsive. And so I'll wear a shoe that is slightly more minimal. And so my Nike fits the bill there. It's very flexible. It's that Nike, I think I had something in the sole there. It has this, the Nike Free 3.0 sole. Yes, 3.0 sole is very flexible. I really appreciate that as a runner, and I like that when I'm running fast. So for faster workouts, I like a more minimal shoe. If you're very advanced, you might want to wear your racing shoes when you're doing workouts. And racing shoes can definitely hold many different styles and shapes and sizes. You could be wearing your regular trainers for a race, maybe a marathon. Maybe for a shorter road race, you want a pair of racing flats that are very minimal, they're very light, there's not a lot of support or structure to them. Those are great for racing on the roads. Now, if you are a track and field athlete and you're running on the track, you might want something like this. This is, man, the old school Nike Ventilus spikes. These are really for the track only. You know, you can only run on the track with these. They have a pretty aggressive spike plate. But these are my favorite spikes from college, and I ran everything from the 800 to the 5K in those spikes. But of course, those are not appropriate for a long run, the same way that this clunky shoe is not appropriate for an 800. So think about the type of shoe you're wearing for the type of run that you're about to go on. Generally speaking, I like more cushioned, supportive shoes for either recovery runs or long runs. And then the shorter, faster workouts where, you know, I am going to be running really fast, I like a more responsive, minimalist shoe. And the side benefit of wearing a more minimalist shoe when you're running fast is that it helps you develop a little bit more strength and it helps reinforce better running form. So when in doubt, use that simple framework to help you decide what shoe to wear. Hope you got something helpful out of this video. The next time that you're out buying shoes or deciding what pair of shoes to wear for a workout, just remember that experimentation is a great thing when it comes to running shoes. So buy a lot of different pairs, experiment with them, see what you like, see what your body really responds to. And I'm curious if you have any other questions about running shoes. I want to put together some more videos talking about different shoes and how to best use them in your training. So leave me a comment under this video and let me know. I will do my best to either make a new video directly answering your question, or I'll just jump in and answer it for you.